Let's talk about this fantastic comic that costed $4. Starting with the cover variant by Greg Land, then the art inside was no disappointment by my boy from South Africa. His name is Sean Izaakse. You did your thing on this comic book and on every comic book you do since I first read you in Champions. The artwork was the standout. That's not true, because the writing was phenomenal too. This was a great comic. This is why we read comic books. If you haven't read it, before I get into it, I don't want to spoil it for you. Go away, buy the comic, come back, and appreciate this review even more, because this was that good. It's a recommend. It's a 9 out of 10 comic book with everything you want in comics. So it's a love story between Johnny Storm and his new woman, Sky. And we get to know that just like they have, the Fantastic Four have their cosmic rays enhancing them, making them super beings, they took advantage of that over here on this planet, and they got two sons on this planet, and only one son on the one on Johnny's. When Johnny was explaining to her that he had a connection with her back in the day, I saw, what did he say exactly? It was, when I was a boy, Reed let me look at a faster than light scan of a world in a 2-star system, your world, and I felt, I know, I felt it too. All right, that's great. You know what would have been really sweet? If in that bottom corner I would have got see editor's note. This happened in issue 433 of the Fantastic Four. But because it doesn't say that, I'm thinking this is Dan Slott adding to their history. Kind of like this entire story is. Kind of like Johnny Storm training and doing everything possible to become old enough and qualified enough to be an astronaut. That's just something Dan Slott is putting in here. Do I like it? No. That's why this isn't a 10 out of 10 comic book. It doesn't bug me too much though, because the love story between the two is kind of interesting. It seems like she's genuine and she's a nice human being. She's wherever the world she is, 44 light years away from Earth, which is nice to know that it's not like in a different dimension. It's not, this is Earth, except something went sour. They're just 44 light years away. Okay? They are within, space is a big place. I think every comic book character should have at least like 4 space companions or something of the sort. Like the X-Men have the Shi'ar Empire, and they deal with them a lot. They just dealt with them in New Mutants earlier. And who else? Planet Hulk, that's a thing. Sakaar. I could name them, but I'm telling the truth. So it's good that the Fantastic Four have another kind of space place base all up in their face. This dude with the eyes all up in his face, he looks like he's the leader, and he's pretty bad. Mr. Fantastic found him out. And I like that Sue Storm, she was the one kind of explaining and talking to him and being the leader at this point. By the way, this whole double page, this consecutive double pages, like, it was sweet. I love that about this comic. It was like, let's check in with what's happening with Johnny over here. Let's check in with what's happening with Ben, which is interesting. Let's check in with everyone. Where's the page? I can't find the page, but the page when she was questioning him. That was sweet. And when that one page where she breaks and says it's clobbering time, the artwork on that was so superb. Something about this guy, Sean Izaakse. But everything with Ben Grimm. So we find out that not everyone made it. Everyone who tried to get cosmic rays to enhance themselves for the good of their nation, their world, some of them ended up like Ben Grimm. And Ben got in the underworld, looking and talking to these people. Yeah, he's got to fight his way out of it and achieves it. German suplex the dude too. And then he got a little bit of a message for everyone. You guys don't know diddly squat. This is me, and I found the sweetest pearl in the land, and shows the ring and of the woman, and he even referenced the Hulk fight that he had a few issues ago. You got to reference the comics that I read a few months ago to make me think that they're important, and I'll cherish this more if in issue number 18 they're talking about what happened in issue number 16. Because if you're not going to add value to your comic books writer, who will? Not a lot. Not a lot of people respect other people's run. Donny Cates and Jason Aaron kind of have that relationship where they build off of each other, and I just wish that went to all of Marvel. Dan Slott's the man, though. I know he's hated amongst the Spider-Man community. I don't get it, because I love everything this guy's writing. And it's not like the art is changing my mind to make me think that this story is better than it actually is. Yeah, the art is great, but this story is great too. Seeing Johnny and his woman not knowing what's going on, when Mr. Fantastic and Sue are being chased, and he says to her, "Honey, can you contain that fire?" and shape it in a specific way. I didn't know what he was talking about, but we could see that in Johnny's story and then in Ben's story that it's the four up in the sky. And it's so fitting, man. It was a great close to this comic. And we'll see the final page. Actually, before I talk about the final page, the page for the next month's issue, is promising. I really want to see the story between her and him. If we get one character to stay, I don't want Sidearm. I don't want the dude with the eyes. I would like for her to come over. Okay? But Ben Grimm, even though it was a mushy-gushy talk with what he said to the people, him standing on top of that and saying, "Who's with me?" with all the things in the area. What was the main leader of the thing? There was a guy named Scrum, I think his name was. I'm willing to guess we'll get some stuff about his backstory, and he's probably the most significant of all of these underworld people, and he might even help the Fantastic Four get back to their place, back to regular Earth. And that'll be that, man. This mission to this planet was not a waste of time at all. This was spectacular. It was...
Look at the adjective!
Fantastic. All right. I'll go. I'll leave you with that button. If you haven't already subscribed to me, my name's Chillmonger. I review comics on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We can get to know each other if you want. If you don't want to get to know me, then you can watch this video here, and then you can watch this video. And if you haven't changed your mind by then I guess you hate me.